From our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aishah Ashraf. CUNY students have launched a hunger strike in NYC, demanding the university cut ties with firms linked to Israel's war on Gaza. This and more in today's show, so stay tuned. A federal judge has ruled that the detention of Columbia University student Mahmoud Khalil was likely unconstitutional. Khalil, a Free Palestinian activist, was arrested in March and sent to a Louisiana detention center. The judge said the Trump administration's use of immigration law against him appeared unlawful. Khalil missed the birth of his first child while detained without due process. His lawyers accused Secretary of State Marco Rubio of weaponizing immigration to silence dissent. The court demanded more evidence before deciding on his release. The case could set a major legal precedent for future actions against foreign students. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says Chinese students will face visa revocations. Acting under President Donald Trump's directive, the State Department and Homeland Security will target students linked to the Chinese Communist Party or sensitive academic fields. Visa criteria for applicants from China and Hong Kong will also be toughened. The move follows recent visa cancellations of students involved in pro-Palestine protests, including Turkish PhD student Rumeysa Öztürk. Last week, the Trump administration tried to block Harvard from enrolling foreign students, but a court halted it. Trump now proposes capping foreign student admissions at 15%, labeling some radical troublemakers. The U.S. will now restrict visas for foreign officials who try to silence Americans abroad. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the new policy targets those complicit in censoring U.S. citizens' free speech. He stressed that foreign governments have no right to punish Americans for what they say online or elsewhere. Rubio warns that such actions violate U.S. sovereignty and will no longer be tolerated. The policy may also affect some family members of those involved. Rubio did not specify any particular cases of Americans being censored. However, tech firms in the U.S. and the Trump administration have challenged European allies over alleged censorship of social media platforms. This comes amid broader visa crackdowns under the Trump administration, including against pro-Palestine student activists at top U.S. universities. The Trump administration itself has been accused of stifling free speech on college campuses. Voice of America, or VOA, an 80-year-old international broadcaster, is expected to issue termination notices to its remaining 800 employees this week, according to Politico. This follows the earlier dismissal of nearly 600 contractors and marks a likely end to VOA's global operations. The layoffs come under an executive order signed by President Donald Trump on March 15th. It directs VOA's parent agency, the U.S. Agency for Global Media, or USAGM, to eliminate the broadcaster to the maximum extent allowed by law. Sources say the cuts will affect nearly all staff, effectively shutting down the network. The Trump administration has repeatedly accused VOA of bias, labeling it the voice of radical America. VOA journalists challenged the move in court, but a federal appeal court refused to halt the shutdown. USAGM, the White House, and the Department of Government Efficiency have yet to comment. The layoffs mark the end of an era in U.S. international broadcasting. A federal court has blocked President Donald Trump from imposing sweeping global tariffs. The Court of International Trade ruled the president overstepped his authority by using emergency powers to enforce tariffs on imports from China, Mexico, and Canada. Trump had cited fentanyl trafficking to justify the move, but judges said the law he used, called the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, does not allow tariff enforcement. The ruling permanently halts Trump's 10 to 30% tariffs on most goods, though separate tariffs on auto, steel, and aluminum remain unaffected. The case was brought by small businesses harmed by the policy. Students from the City University of New York, or CUNY, have launched an indefinite hunger strike for Gaza in New York City. The protest began Wednesday and includes students from the CUNY Graduate Center, Brooklyn College, and Baruch College. Students are demanding CUNY cut ties with companies linked to Israel's genocide in Gaza. The students are also calling for accountability for war crimes and raising awareness about Gaza's humanitarian crisis. This hunger strike is part of a growing student-led movement across U.S. campuses.
I'm here today to mark the launch of our hunger strike in solidarity with Palestine against the genocide. And we are calling on CUNY, the City University of New York, to divest from Israel, from companies that are involved in the manufacturing of weapons that otherwise profit from Israel's genocide.
Elon Musk opposed OpenAI's $1 billion UAE project. Upstate XAI was excluded. Despite pressure, Trump approved the deal. This and more coming up next. Welcome back. Israel killed at least 55 Palestinians on Thursday in airstrikes across Gaza. It killed 23 people in a strike on a family home in Burej refugee camp. 10 others were killed when a jet hit a car at Al-Sarawiya junction in Gaza City. 7 more, including women and children, were killed in Jabalia, while 9 police officers were killed near central Gaza. Israeli strikes also hit Khan Yunis and Deir al-Balah, killing a pregnant woman, a 13-year-old child, and others. Medics are still pulling bodies from rubble in several areas. Meanwhile, Israeli opposition leader Yair Lapid urged Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to accept a U.S. brokered ceasefire. Israel also approved 22 illegal West Bank settlements, its biggest such decision to date. Israel's genocide in Gaza has killed over 64,000 Palestinians, according to a report in January in the British medical journal The Lancet, most of them women, children, and the elderly. The Gaza Health Ministry says an additional 123,492 have been wounded. Israel killed 5 aid workers in Gaza who were from the Turkish IHH humanitarian group, which partners with the UN World Food Programme. 2 others were seriously injured. IHH called Israel's strikes a heinous attack on those risking their lives to help the oppressed. The victims were Muhammad al-Mubayyid, Ahmed Bastan, Mutaz Rajab, Jamal al-Mubayyid, and Ishaq al-Taif. On Sunday, UN official Cindy McCain warned that 500,000 people in Gaza are extremely food insecure and at risk of famine. A suspected suicide bombing killed 1 policeman and 4 militants during a police raid in Pakistan-Administered Kashmir. The blast occurred in Rawalakot district, where police targeted a militant hideout on the city's outskirts. Officials said the suspects opened fire and 1 detonated explosives, killing himself and others. 7 police officers were injured. Police believe the attackers were linked to the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, a banned militant group. Some reports say 2 policemen died, but officials confirmed 1 fatality among police. The raid was part of ongoing counter-terror operations in the region. Elon Musk reportedly tried to block a major OpenAI data center deal in the UAE because his AI firm, XAI, was left out. According to the Wall Street Journal, Musk told UAE officials the deal would not get approval from President Donald Trump unless XAI was included. The $1 billion project in Abu Dhabi, led by OpenAI and other U.S. tech giants, was eventually approved. Sources say Musk was upset that OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, his former partner, was part of the deal and said to accompany Trump on a Middle East tour. Musk joined the trip and raised objections. Despite his efforts, Trump's team gave the green light. A White House official said Musk just wanted fairness in AI partnerships. OpenAI announced the deal on May 22nd, calling it the first international rollout of its AI platform Stargate in collaboration with G42, Oracle, NVIDIA, Cisco, and SoftBank. Musk and Altman co-founded OpenAI in 2015, but later split. State Department cables leaked to ProPublica reveal a sharp rise in violence, trafficking, and sexual assaults in African refugee camps due to recent U.S. aid cuts. A cable from Malawi in April reported that food aid cuts to the UN World Food Programme, or WFP, triggered crime and human trafficking in the overcrowded Zalika camp. The camp is home to more than 55,000 refugees. The WFP slashed rations by a third after a 40% drop in funding. A May cable from Kenya warned news of cuts sparked protests and deadly chaos at food centers, including the death of a pregnant woman. Aid workers fear more violence as desperation grows. The State Department defended the move, saying the U.S. cannot feed everyone. It confirmed that 2025 funding for Malawi and Kenya is still pending. Most WFP programs inherited by the Trump administration remain active, a spokesperson added. The second Global Islamic Economy Summit kicks off in Istanbul on Friday. The summit aims to reshape the Islamic economy, focusing on sustainable growth, innovation, financial inclusion, and risk management, all guided by Islamic principles. Top leaders, policymakers, and financial experts will attend, including Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The event will also promote cooperation among Islamic financial institutions and set a strategic roadmap with national priorities. Leaked Chinese police records reveal Beijing's years-long campaign to silence Radio Free Asia, or RFA, by targeting Uyghur journalists and their contacts. RFA is a U.S. government-funded broadcaster. Authorities compiled personal details of 42 people linked to U.S.-based reporter Shohret Hoshur. They accused him of spreading terrorism and retaliating against his friends and family. The documents are part of an international consortium of investigative journalists probe. They reveal Chinese pressure on the Uyghur diaspora and journalists exposing abuses in Chinese-occupied eastern Turkestan. Despite RFA's critical reporting, the Trump administration ended funding for its parent agency, causing mass layoffs and closure of its Uyghur and Tibetan services. China welcomed the move, while U.S. lawmakers and rights groups warned it hands-on information went to Beijing. A fifth of the world's oceans have darkened in the past 2 decades, threatening marine life that depends on sunlight, scientists warn. Satellite data from 2003 to 2022 shows 28 million square miles of ocean, an area the size of Europe, Africa, China, and North America combined have seen reduced light penetration. This darkening has shrunk the photic zone, the sunlit layer where 90% of marine species live, and phytoplankton generate nearly half of Earth's oxygen. In some regions, this zone is now 50 to 100 meters shallower. The darkening is linked to coastal runoff, ocean warming, and changing currents, with hotspots in the Southern Ocean and the Gulf Stream near Greenland. Marine experts call the trend alarming, with risks to ocean ecosystems, global fisheries, and climate-regulating processes. Meanwhile, approximately 10% of oceans have brightened, but scientists say the overall trend spells trouble. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.